1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 muscle-bound sons of bitches in the courtroom. Gee, where were you guys when we needed you?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your very own personal board-certified criminal defense lawyer, to give you reactions about the news of the day, cases, you name it, all brought to you by our content genius that you know is Michael Rivers. Today we're reacting to Diabra. I think it's Diabra. It looks like Deborah. Actually, I think his mom wanted a girl, Redden. This is a guy that jumped across the bench and assaulted a bunch of people. But before we get to that, this is brought to you by eSign.com. eSign.com is a very effective way to remotely do business. Let's say you work at the jail, and just because this guy went off, now you got to order more spit masks because he used your last one. Well, you get a purchase order, and you can do eSign.com. You know, you download the app, you get 3 free signatures a month, and you can order as many spit masks as you want. We'll see what that is in a second here. I use it all the time for all kinds of things, medical releases. I use it for retainer agreements, just about any kind of document you can email, you can use with eSign. Super simple. Even a technologically challenged wizard like me can use it. So you can too. eSign.com, very effective way to remotely do business. If it's not eSign, no one signs. Okay, so Diabra Redden, you know, we reacted to this before, and it really is just amazing the athleticism this guy displayed. Here, let's just watch the initial thing first again and see what we're talking about.
Because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court.
I mean, the leaping ability this guy has is just astounding. But he's back there, he's back there, he's back there, he's back there. And he is pounding the shit out of people, anybody in his wake. Now, let's see him back in court. He was back in court to get sentenced in front of the same judge that he just whooped ass on.
Page 34.
Now, should he be sentenced in front of the same judge? If there's any prejudice, it's his in the making, right? He created the prejudice by doing what he did. But watch this judge. This judge does exactly the right thing.
State Nevada versus Diabra Redden, C-373-697.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. We got 7 muscle-bound sons of bitches in the courtroom. Gee, where were you guys when we needed you? This judge should have had those guys in the courtroom. She knew he was violent. She knew he probably thought he was going home, or at least getting probation again. You know, we give people a lot of chances, but sometimes you run out of chances. Okay, now see, I was talking about a spit mask. And we'll talk about what he's charged with in a second. But if you look at his head, that's a spit mask, so he can't spit on anybody. He can breathe just fine, there's just all kinds of, what's he go? 1, 2, 3, yeah, you got all kinds of deputies around.
Mr. Almasi's here now.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning. All right, this is on for the continuation of Mr. Redden's sentencing. When we were last here, arguments were concluded and the court had begun to pronounce sentence when an incident occurred. An incident initiated by Mr. Redden, preventing the court from completing sentencing. That is the sole purpose for today's hearing.
So one of the things the judge has to do here is to be sure she gives him a sentence that's not retaliatory. Because what happened in the courtroom is really not, it kind of is germane in the sense that he could be found in contempt, but, you know, that's a misdemeanor. So what's going to the conduct that he's responsible for in the courtroom is addressed in a different case by a different judge. She just goes by the book here.
Any other issues that may arise from the events that occurred last Wednesday will be handled at a future date by a different court. For purposes of the record, I want to make it clear that I am not changing or modifying the sentence I was in the process of imposing last week before I was interrupted by defendant's action.
Now, she would be totally within her rights to cite him for criminal contempt and give that as a consecutive sentence. And she can summarily enter that conviction. Why? Because it happened right in front of the judge. When some misconduct that's criminal that happens in front of the judge in court, the judge can summarily enter a conviction.
I am making my calendar page from that day an exhibit for the court as it existed the moment I walked in. Prior to anything happening, nothing's been changed, indicating the sentence I intend.
Did you hear that? I'm giving you the calendar page that I had prepared prior to entering the courtroom before. What? So she had the sentence already figured out before she got in the courtroom. So that means whatever the prosecutor said, whatever the defense lawyer said, didn't make a difference because she had already made up her mind, which I think is a little problematic. But she's stating this to say that, look, I'm going to give you the sentence I was going to give you anyway. This is not retaliatory. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do.
Intended to impose. I'll agree with that for a moment. All right, that being said, in accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court does now sentence you in addition to the $25 administrative assessment fee, $150 DNA fee, the $3 DNA administrative assessment fee, and $250 indigent defense fee, 19 to 48 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. How much credit for time served does he have?
It's 0 days. He was on probation when he committed the offense and was revoked on probation.
So he's on probation, but hasn't he been in jail for almost a week? Yeah, and guess what? He's not in jail on this case. He's in jail on that other case. The case he got arrested while he was in court. So they're not giving him any credit. So he's got 19 to 48 months to serve.
To serve the jail time October 25th. That time it expired at about the time of the plea. So
0 days credit. Mr. Almasi, if that's different, let us know. We'll fix it.
I will.
The motion to quash mandatory is moved at this point. And for the record, I just reflexively wrote 0 days credit to serve on the notes specific what I just said. So that is in addition as of right now.
So I'm not saying that they should have had like 10 deputies in the courtroom at that time, but they should have had a couple. Anytime somebody is going to be taken into custody, going to prison, it's unpredictable. I've had cases where my client has attacked, a prosecutor or, just jumped, never got to the bench, never did anything like that because the deputies were there, and that's what they're for. We're also sponsored by Step One. I am a fanatic about Step One. I've been wearing them ever since August, since my trip to Alaska. I wear them every day. They've got the Lycra panels so you don't chafe. They're made out of a viscose material derived from organic bamboo so you don't sweat. And they're super comfortable. I'm wearing them right now. Order some of these right now, and if you do, you get a 30-day guarantee, so it's a risk-free proposition for you. And as you check out in Bruce Rivers in the promo code, and you get a 25% discount. You guys get that, and I've secured that for you. That's something I'm bringing to you. Valentine's Day is just around the corner. You couldn't get him a better gift. They've got him in all kinds of different colors, sizes. Even Gypsy Rose's husband could get some. And I think he does wear Step Ones, actually. And so you get a couple pair, and if you like them, get a whole bunch more. Step One, get some.
That's correct. The probation case number, just for the record, is C370775.
Thank you.
So that's that. So now, with respect to what he's looking at for the other case, so he's facing 13 new charges from that courtroom attack, charged with coercion with force or a threat of force, extortion, intimidating a public officer with a threat of force, disregarding the safety of a person resulting in significant bodily injury, battery by a probationer or parolee, he was on probation at the time, an unlawful act regarding fluid and spitting on people, which is a felony, actually. It's funny, in Minnesota, you can kick an officer in the balls, and that's a misdemeanor, but you can spit on him, and that's a felony. According to a law enforcement officer, according to the client, the bail was set at $54,000. Well, it doesn't really matter because he's in custody with no bail on the other thing. So now, if we look over at one of the injuries from one of the deputies, look at the back of his head. I think that's one of the attempted murder charges that he's going to face. Now, I can't believe the bail's only $54,000 because that, to protect the public. But in a way, it doesn't matter anyway because he's going to prison. So he's not. It's kind of moot, as they say. So he's not getting out. It's just that injury to that courtroom personnel is just absolutely horrific. Now, this attack was, you can say it's fueled by mental illness, and it probably is. But the thing about it is, that's not an excuse. Even people who are mentally ill, depending upon what their illness is, are held to account if they can appreciate the right from wrong and if they can aid in their defense. So that's whether they're incompetent or whether they were laboring under a mental condition that they didn't know what they were doing at the time of the crime. And he clearly was. He's like, fuck you, bitch. I'm going to, and he climbs over her or just jumps. That is not easy to do. And he just leaps in the air. And he's just going to town on the people that he's with, behind the bench. So, this is just a quick update to show you what happened and how the deputies are actually there to protect the court and the public. You see these people react all the time, like that Jeffrey Dahmer, the woman, and just wanted to go after him. Or a father whose daughter was sexually abused. And remember that one guy, he wanted to ask the judge if he'd go back in there. And, when they go after him, sometimes it's just there's so much emotion that's going on, you can't contain yourself. And that's what happened here. But he's the bad guy. And what he did, instead of getting out in 18 to 48 months, I bet he gets a consecutive sentence. And what that means is the judge can give whatever they want on top of the other case. And sometimes it's a concurrent sentence. They do them at the same time. Like if I got a 12 months for drugs and a 12 months for a gun concurrent, I do 12 months. But if I got 12 months consecutive to 12 months, then I do 24 months. You get it. So I'm sure this is, I can't imagine we're going to react too much more, but he's going to get, I bet you he gets at least 5 to 8 years for the conduct that he displayed in court. That's just absolutely ridiculous. So we'll see you next time here in Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Make sure you smile. Smile. What the fuck? So thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Sign up for Patreon. And we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. 23-hour lockdown, please, is that my God?